like that Pop Smoke thing, man. I want to touch bases on that again, man. It's just, now just from my eyes, and just from the outside looking in, just to make sure I say that, it seems like to me like it was some old, somebody jealous, you're in the wrong type of set, man. You got to be careful, man, when you're moving around, man. When you go into these cities, man, you got real gangs and real, just let me say conglomerates that really mean business, man. So when you go to these states, man, and you just willy-nilly kicking it, I mean, and you get some people that might push up on you, you know what I mean, saying, hey, man, I need this. And I'm not saying this is what happened, but I'm saying this is the type of thing that does happen all the time, you know what I mean? And, you get pushed up on, and then they say, hey, man, I need, such and such and such and such for you to operate over here. No matter if it's operating in drugs or music or whatever. That's just how it goes in a lot of hoods. Even though he wasn't living in the hood, you know what I'm saying? It's just, we got to be careful, man, because we already tagged, man, when you're a black man, then you're a young black man. It's like you're all automatically a target, you know what I mean? And it's to the point that it's starting to get, like I heard Jadakiss say, man, he said he's had more lost in the last 2 years in the rap community than he's had in his whole career.
I was just telling somebody today, we lost probably as many young artists in the last year or two than I lost my whole career. You know what I mean? So that's not good. That's not good at all.
You know what I'm saying, man? That says volumes, man. Man, we need to take care of each other, man, to take care of ourselves first. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of hate going on. I mean, people gonna hate you for, like Pac said, for whatever you do. So you catch yourself, you're getting money, you catch some heat, you catch a wave. You know what I mean? You start moving right, you start getting some money, you start shining, and these cats start thinking about their bras. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? It's a lot of insecurity going on, man. They start saying, okay, hell, this nigga fresh. You know what I mean? His chick, hey, man, his music jamming. Man, that Pop Smoke or whoever, man, it's jamming, blase. Then you got the cats around, man. You heard that new such and such. Then you got, and then all of a sudden, like Boosie said, they get hypnotized with hate, man. And that's some real shit, man. And people just get caught up. And once, there's nothing you can do about it, man. It's just almost like it's a plague from not having. You know what I mean? It's like black people haven't had for so long. It's like the attitude of not having, and the things that come along with the attitude of not having, things like hating, envy, jealousy, and it's a whole lot of other things that come behind that. And that's all it is, man. They say the crab's in the barrel, but then it all depends on who you compare it to. You know what I mean? Like I told somebody, it's a waste of time trying to use material means or material goods to try to show your superiority. You know what I'm saying? Because you can always be one up. You know what I mean? In other words, say a man pull up in a Honda and he's looking down on somebody on a bicycle. You know what I mean? Or the man on the bicycle look down on the man riding the bus. And then you got the man in the Honda, he's looked down on the man in a BMW. You know what I mean? But then the man in the BMW's looked down on the man in the 550 Benz. And then the man in the Benz, he's looked down on the man with the Bugatti. But then the man with the jet looks down like, hey, fool, why you buying a Bugatti? That type of thing, so you're always going to have somebody that's doing better, and it's always somebody that's doing worse. So just be thankful for what you got. You know what I'm saying? That's just my outlook on it. And then that kills a lot of the jealousy, man. You know what I mean? And people need to stop chasing money, man. If you're going to chase anything, chase happiness. You know what I mean? What good does it do to get money and not have any happiness? You know what I mean? That's the whole point of getting money, at least for me, is that me and the people around me are happy. You know what I mean? If it don't serve that purpose, then it's nothing but evil. Then what good is it? You know, I mean, I heard a preacher say money is good for two things. That's to keep you living and to bury you when you die. Very, 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 very true statement. But, and I also hear people say money is the root to all evil. They say the Bible, and they misquote the Bible with that. And it's not true. It's the love of money, for the love of money. That's what make people do the things that they do for the money. You know what I mean? It's the love for the money. It's not the money itself. Money itself is only a material object. Love is an emotion that can manifest and turn into all types of different things. You know what I'm saying? Love can turn into hate. It can turn into jealousy, and it can lead to casualty. You know what I mean? And I think that's what we seeing a lot, man. Like the love, a lot of these kids got love for drugs, man. That's why you seeing this ODs. Like when we was coming up, it wasn't cool to be a dope head. You know what I'm saying? To me, it still ain't cool to be a dope head. But now you got cats bragging about being dope heads. You know what I'm saying? And that ain't what's happening, man. You know, when you're on the opioids, you're on the opioid. That's heroin. You know what I'm saying? And the body can't just take all what these young cats giving them, man. I mean, what these young cats taking. Because you got to understand, like, a lot of us, we graduated, okay? We started smoking regular weed, what we call Reggie. Then you went to the red hair cyst. Then you graduated to the dro. Then you graduated to the gas. But now, man, these cats, man, the first thing they smoke is gas. And then they go from that to something else. And then next thing you know, they on Xanny bars and all type of stuff. And I mean, do whatever, that floats your boat, man, but understand what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Because pretty soon, the threat that's abundant in our communities is going to give the opposition a reason to lock our black ass up. You know what I'm saying? Just to keep it plain. But it's keep it real reality, man, we'll win, man. I'm just sitting here, spinning a little game, kicking it, just telling you, giving you a journey into my mind frame about a lot of things that's going on. That's all I'm doing. And sipping on a little cognac. Smoking on a little cigar. And it's a lot of things going on, man. But the most thing I see going on is the disinformation and the lack thereof of sharing information. And then I notice a lot of stars. This is one thing I can do when I peep game, when I see a lot of these people up to some bullshit. Like you got a so-called activist, they'll speak up on this issue. But then another issue that'll come along that's just as much relevant or maybe even more so, and you hear nothing from them. That's how you can peep a fraud. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of these people that are calling themselves activists have been put in front of us to activate us. They are activists, but not for the means that you and I think they're activating or what they're acting on. They're acting on more issues of something that their boss told them to do. You got a few conglomerate people that's put up in front of us, that's labeled as successful. And then they know that, especially with black folk, all you got to do is just show us some money. And we turn that into, I want to be like him, no matter how he got the money. For some reason, that's like crazy. Like we can do anything these days and it can be justified by, well, he getting that money. Well, he got that check. I mean, come on, man. So you mean a dude could be a pedophile, a rapist, and a murderer and all types of whatever, and it's all justified because, hey, man, he getting that check. I mean, y'all, we need to check what we doing, man. For real. And we need to start studying more, man. Understand like when you hear me talk about the conditions of our community and the financial conditions. You know, I was put up on some game. You know what I mean? Shout out to Antonio Moore and Yvette Carnell. You know what I mean? About the wealth gap or the racial wealth gap. You know what I mean? And that's something that struck me because when you just think about it from sheer data or just sheer numbers, when you understand that the middle class family is worth $4,000, black middle class family, and the average middle class white family, I believe, is like $150,000. And you see the differential in the two numbers, that alone lets you know it's some unfair play going on. That's more than just pull yourself up by the bootstraps. You know what I mean? It's you pull yourself up by your bootstraps for me, and I eat, you don't eat. This land is your land, this is my land, it's made for you and me, but I'm the only one that's gonna eat in it. That's pretty much what we're getting, man. And as black people, if we don't first realize and get together, man, stop all with it, man. I'm hearing like the Tariq Nasheed and him and the ADOS going back and forth about foundational black Americans and ADOS, and it is crazy, man. I mean, don't make this thing a hustle, man. Because really what you're doing, you're hustling yourself. Because you got to understand, man, it's too many cameras going on. And right now, man, when you playing that fraud game, it's inevitable that you're going to get caught up too, man. I mean, you can fool some of the people, what's the saying? You can fool some of the people some of the time, but all the people, never, something like that. You know what I mean? And some people you just can't fool. I mean, people that pay attention and take it for what it is, it's hard to fool those type of people. You know what I mean? Then we got R. Kelly. And it's crazy how we need to stop doing that, man. Stop demonizing. And I heard somebody say this, and this is scary. Somebody, I forget what article it was, something I was reading somewhere, and it was some feminist group that was saying that, like, your word, like if her word is enough, like saying if you were, like if a man was accused of some type of sexual assault or something, the fact that a female said it is enough. She could say it, I mean, it's always been that way, but now it's almost it's becoming a trend. Like, okay, if she said it, you did it. And if you can't see the problem in that, and then all of a sudden you see every black man that's in power, that's the way that they're being torn down. From Russell Simmons to Michael Jackson to, man, it goes on, to Mystical, to all the way from Tupac, man, it's been going on. Because all you got to do is just say, hey, man, he raped me. And that's that. And then, it's just, man, if we don't put our minds together and get together on a one accord on God, man, we don't have a chance, man. Really. Because this whole thing, man, what we're seeing is revelations unfold, you know? And I remember when I was young and being taught or hearing the teachers of revelations and thinking to myself, like, man, this is some crazy stuff. Like, man, what do you mean? The mark of the beast, and you mean to tell me everybody's going to get a 666 in their head, and we was already told that, man, nobody's going to be that stupid. What do you mean by women and men are going to be lovers of themselves? Like, what kind of crazy? I remember really thinking of that. But then now when I'm seeing it, it's scary. It's really, really scary, man. And people often want to look for the truth. I mean, we've been told the truth our whole lives, man. But what it is, man, I think a lot of us